just doesn't quite line up as nicely as March, April, and May.
So picture this, Jim. You're a meteorologist trying to compare spring weather over a span of a decade. You're looking at the annual spring accumulation of snow, say, in Calgary. And because of where the equinox and the solstice fall, one year spring is 89 days long, another year it's 93. So if there's a big storm on March 20th of one year, that data will belong to spring, but in the other year, it could belong to winter.
Okay, I understand this, but spring weather comes at very different times depending on where you are in the country.
This is true, but Ryan has a different take on spring altogether. While we may think of it as green grass and crocuses, he thinks of it more as the process that gets us to that. You're smiling.
Isn't it croci?
Okay, fine. Green grass and crocuses, croci, equini, whatever. He thinks whatever they are, spring isn't when that happens, spring is what gets us to that. And seeing it that way, he makes a pretty compelling case for spring starting on March 1st and not March 20th, 21st, etc.
March is a month, I think we can all agree, that is a transition month, and I think that's why March 1st is a pretty good hard number for the beginning of spring. March is a month when we can see big record-breaking warmth temperatures. It's also a month where we can have a big blizzard coming through. That's a transition month to me. That's not winter. Winter is February, January, and December. You've got Christmas, you've got cold, you've got, days on end of blowing snow. That's winter, and, spring arrives with transition season in March and starts to warm in April, and, we say goodbye around May 24th weekend, not June 20th or 21st or 22nd.
So that's CBC meteorologist Ryan Snodden making the case for meteorological seasons, proclaiming March 1st the beginning of spring, June 1st the beginning of summer, and so on.
I have to say, personally, this makes a lot of sense to me. Psychologically, I'm right on board with Ryan, but I still come back to the differences in different parts of the country, and I think in a lot of areas, they would just say, no, that's just not when spring starts.
Well, and Ryan had some stats for me about the average highs and the average lows in March for St. John's, Calgary, and Vancouver, and they were very different. So you're right, there is this range, and I think this, of course, Jim, is where we want to turn to the listeners. To our listeners across the country, where on the calendar do you put the beginning of spring, and what is your favorite sign that spring has begun? For Ryan Snodden, it's March 1st, and his favorite sign is melting piles of snow.
All right, so send us your signs and send us your dates.
That's right. So our address is the180@cbc.ca.
Thank you, Catherine.
You're welcome.
And that's our show for this week. The 180 was produced by Catherine Marlowe, Matthew Lazenrider, and Monisha Jonakaran. Our senior producer is Jeff Turner. I'm Jim Brown. Thanks for listening.
This is CBC Radio 1, 104.7 FM in the West End. Hello, I'm Mike Finnerty. Join us tomorrow live from 5:30 for the Tuesday edition of Daybreak and your first CBC Montreal news of the day.
The Canadians will try and pick up their sixth straight win as they take on the Vancouver Canucks.
We may be looking at an icy Tuesday drive. I'll have my eye on that in public transit every 10 minutes.
Katie O'Malley will take us inside Ottawa politics. And of course, we'll have all the details on the weather. We'll see you tomorrow live from 5:30.
Hi, I'm Sabrina Maridola in for Sue Smith. A Montrealer was headed to Vermont for a day at the spa, but border guards said she needed an immigrant visa to get in. We'll speak to an immigration lawyer about that. Plus, if you're on spring break, we've got you covered with fun and inexpensive ideas to keep busy. That's today on Home Run.
This is CBC News. Good afternoon, I'm Donna Tranquata with the World This Hour. We begin in Washington, where Donald Trump has signed a new executive order for a revamped travel ban. In the president's first version of the ban, there were 7 Muslim-majority countries on the list. This time, there are 6. It's just one of several changes the Trump administration has made in hopes of getting the new order through the courts. The CBC's Lindsay Duncombe has more.
Iraq isn't on the list, and when he was speaking today, Secretary of State Rex Tillerson said that in the past month, Iraq has shown the U.S. that it does have a system of vetting people so that they won't pose a risk to the United States. The other big change here is that if you already have a visa in your passport, you're good to go. People from these countries cannot apply to get a new visa. This ban does not take effect immediately. These rules do not go into place for 10 days or so, not till March 16th. Clearly, though, the Attorney General believes that this is a strong order and believes the President has the power to make these changes. Here's Jeff Sessions.
The executive is empowered under the Constitution and by Congress to make national security judgments and to enforce our immigration policies in order to safeguard the American public. Terrorism is clearly a danger for America and our people.
And there are some big differences in the rollout here between this ban and the previous one. Very clear that they want to provide a united front and to take attention away from the story of the weekend, which of course was Donald Trump's Twitter assertion that the former President Barack Obama wiretapped Trump Tower, and the news today that the FBI wants the Justice Department to say it didn't happen. Some very different stories coming out of the government and its intelligence agencies.
The CBC's Lindsay Duncombe in Washington. CBC News has learned the American Gold Star father who spoke at the Democratic National Convention has canceled a planned visit to Toronto. Khizr Khan was supposed to speak at a conference tomorrow, but he says his travel privileges are being reviewed. He says he doesn't know why. Khan made headlines after a public war of words with Donald Trump during the election campaign. Trump was criticized for insulting Khan, whose son, a U.S. soldier, died fighting in Iraq. Here at home, Canada is extending its military mission to Ukraine. The Minister of Foreign Affairs, Chrystia Freeland, and Defense Minister Harjit Sajjan say the mission will run until the end of March 2019. They say the operation will help train Ukrainian armed forces as they protect their borders. Sajjan says the extension sends a clear message to Russia.
We have right now a frigate that's working with NATO. We have air policing that will be going in as well. We have troops right now in Poland as they transition into the Latvia mission as well. So when you put it all together, we are sending a very strong message of deterrence. But the diplomacy is just as important, that we need to get back to a responsible conversation and dialogue.
The announcement also says the Canadian Armed Forces will help with the reform of Ukraine's defense establishment. The CBC's David Cochran has details from Ottawa.
About 300 Canadian Armed Forces personnel have been there doing training missions with Ukrainian police, Ukrainian military. About 3,200 people have been trained so far on policing, logistics, and medical training. And Harjit Sajjan said that this sends a message to Russia that we stand with Ukraine, and Unifier is part of their entire commitment in Eastern Europe. We have troops right now in Poland, also going into a NATO-led mission in Latvia. And what's missing here is something that the Conservatives have been asking for quite a period of time, and that's to add Ukraine to the list of countries that is allowed to buy automatic and lethal force weapons from Canada. Right now, that level of military support does not go to Ukraine, which has ongoing issues, of course, with Russia. Instead, what we got today was an extension of Operation Unifier, which was expected. Canadian Armed Forces personnel will stay there for another 2 years, offering training support to Ukrainian military and police.
David Cochran in Ottawa. RCMP Commissioner Bob Paulson is stepping down as the Mounties' top cop. He'll be leaving at the end of June. As we hear from Alison Crawford, Paulson's departure comes at a difficult time for the force.
The internal email sent from Commissioner Bob Paulson this morning to Mounties says that after 32 years with the force, it's time to retire and focus on his family. Paulson served as top cop for 5.5 years and is leaving during a time of upheaval inside the force. Labor relations are strained. Mounties claim RCMP brass are trying to prevent them from exercising their new right to form a union. Officers have also not had a raise in years, despite Paulson's efforts to secure one. In April, the RCMP will be tried on labor code charges arising from the murder of Mounties during the 2014 shootings in Moncton. That said, Paulson has been very vocal about the need to stamp out workplace bullying and harassment inside the force, and many were moved by his tears during the announcement of a $100 million